I like to talk about and get engaged in a lot of things as it relates to the Call to Action show, which is what we're on, and I'm your host, Alex Havisham. But one of the things that's most close to my mind is understanding the meaning and the necessity of passing the torch. Now, what I mean by that, too often, those of us who may be seniors or approaching seniors, you know, think it's all about us and don't understand that what we're supposed to do is to bring our replacements up. Now, I hate to think about that because I like to be here forever, but that ain't gonna happen. So I think it's incumbent upon those of us who have some positions in the community, and some influence and some business experience or what have you. I mean, it's not all about us. We got to help the young people. We got to make sure that the legacy continues. So I'm so happy today to have a young man that I'm just so proud of because he is one of the young people that makes me feel comfortable that things are going to be all right in the future because of what he's doing and with several other people. And that's in the person of Mr. Brandon Haircutz by B. I guess I guess that's his tag name. Mr. Brandon Harris, who's he's a barber. That's what haircuts mean, but he also is an entrepreneur, community activist, dealing in the cultural element of the community, the economic element of the community. So it just makes me happy and proud that he, along with other young people, are doing some things to keep the community forward. This is a call to action. I'm your host, Alex Havisham, and I have with me what I want to do, Mr. Brandon Harris. And I'm just wondering how my hair would look like that, how Dre hair would look like. You see how he is. I want mine to look like that. You know, it'll be with be a great twins, but how you doing, brother?
I'm doing all right. First, let me say it's an honor to be here, right? I remember when I was a young kid going to my grandfather's house and picking up these magazines, the Black Pages, and just seeing my grandfather's business in there and other Black entrepreneurs in our community in there. And just full circle, it's just a pleasure and an honor to be here with you today. But I'm doing good, man. I really appreciate you asking me that.
Well, since you started with your grandfather, let's talk about the legacy, because that's what I want to try to emphasize and generate and expose is that there are some African Americans in this community who are in business for generations.
Right.
And who are products of establishments and what have you that was started by their family. So talk about your business and how you entered into it and where you came from and who started it.
Okay, I'm a third generation barber of Harold's and Sons Barbershop. My grandfather started this family business in 1965. So we got 50 plus years up on our belt. I'm co-owner. Me and my cousin, Daoud Harold, we own the barbershop. And it's just a wonderful thing to be able to carry the torch on and pass it on to my children if they want to do this and keep it going for our family. And legend tells it that my grandfather said he wanted to do this business for his children's children. So you count how many generations that is, and I'm just happy to be a part of keeping this dream going. We've been here 50 plus years. We're a staple in South Macon and downtown community, and I'm just proud to have that legacy held up on my shoulders.
Yeah, and I remember the barbershop. You don't know this, but at one point, and I might have mentioned it to you, but I used to have a car wash across the street.
Oh, really?
Right there on the corner of Broadway and Hazel. It was Broadway then. And
right.
They tore it down, but it was Sparkle Car Wash. And
okay, as you said, I heard many stories of how it used to be down here on Broadway. I heard it was like a baby New York. You know, black folks walking shoulder to shoulder up and down the street, patronizing each other. And they say it was pretty rough, but we was here and we made it happen. So I'm just a part of. I'm happy to be a part of that legacy. You know.
Yeah. Yeah,
Sure.
well, one thing about it, I'm happy that you are continuing the legacy
I heard
because what I understand, and it has come to fruition, is that you've initiated efforts to revitalize that community with the support and the help of some community organizations, some foundations, and some friends, relatives, and concerned folk. You
right.
know, so talk about what's going on before we talk about the shopping center. Just talk generally about what you all are doing down there. And but let's go ahead and say the name Greenwood Bottom.
Greenwood, correct.
Greenwood Bottom. That has a nice ring to it. So
Right. So can I get the history of Greenwood Bottom first?
yes, sir.
No doubt. So Greenwood was where in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where Black Wall Street was held. Where you know the story of Black Wall Street, where we thrive. We had our own buses, our own doctors, everything from A to Z. And so this particular area of Macon was named Greenwood after the Tulsa, Oklahoma Greenwood Bottom. And man, the stories I heard in this barbershop about how we was thriving, not surviving, how we was thriving down here, man, it brings chills over my body. I remember hearing it when I first moved to Macon in 2004. All the old heads used to come in the barbershop. They tell stories about Greenwood Bottom. So it was just my honor once again to help bring it back. It was once a prominent area where Black businessmen had their business along with my grandfather, along with someone like yourself. That's amazing. I didn't know that. I think my uncle had a club across the street. I think it was Do Last Chance or Do Drop In or something like that. Yeah, so this thriving area once was full of Black folks and Black people doing business with each other, loving each other, and just making our community whole. And I'm happy to be a part of bringing this area back and putting it back on the map.
Yeah, and then see the other thing is, you see, and let me tell you what's important, Brandon. Um, I'm glad you doing it because a lot of people your age and your generation, they don't realize what's happening, man, and what happened and what we went through and how we survived. But
Right.
then, Black folk, and then I want you to look at that. There's an 8 minute, I don't know whether you've seen it. There's an 8 minute clip that talked about the Douglases and the Duvals. I'm gonna send that to you. But Macon
That's
was,
it.
look, Macon was better off than Tulsa. You're talking about Black Wall Street. Macon had a Black Wall Street, not only in Greenwood Bottom, but on Broadway and Poplar Street and Cotton Avenue. So we need to know that history and we need to revive it. And I'm glad that young people like you know it because what has to happen, it has to be regenerated. And we have to become more self-sufficient and we have to support each other. That's why I do the Black Pages. It's not separatist, it's for self-help. So I'm glad to see you continuing the legacy. One more quick story. Now, right around the corner from you is the Roxy Theater.
Rocks.
Now, when the Roxy existed, then that was the only place, and I used to walk from Tyndall Heights, man.
Okay.
On Saturday morning, to go to the Roxy. Of course, I was but 3 or 4 now. I know I ain't quite that old, but I'm old enough. but I mean, it's so interesting and it's so important that we share this story with everybody. And I want you to help me, and I'm gonna help you make sure that millennials and young people like yourself. Look, man, if you don't understand and know your history, that's why I appreciate your admiration for your granddaddy, because that helps, and your father, because that helps to keep you motivated. But then it's also important that you and other people realize, and you do, the role that other people played in the community to make sure that you are positioned to start a shopping mall and things like that. Now,
Right.
talk about the development in Greenwood Bottom.
Okay, we just opened up a 4-store shopping plaza, Greenwood Bottom Shopping Plaza, my wife and I. We have 4 different Black-owned businesses in the shopping plaza. We have McCain Labs, which she is the only Black-owned phlebotomist in Macon, Georgia. We have my clothing store, which is Nappy Hustle Clothing. We have the Smoothie Plug, which do the smoothies, and we have Luxurious Beauty Salon. And so that's just the beginning, Mr. Hammersham. We're growing on back behind it on Bay Street. We acquired the property behind the plaza, and we're going to keep running that play. And I want Greenwood Bottom to be recognized as somewhere where you can come in and get full off the culture. And it's given to you by the culture. I think that's important as well. When we're talking about the culture, I think it's important to be given back to the people from somebody that looks like them.
Yeah. Outstanding, absolutely. And then, exposure and marketing are intricate parts of trying and education of familiarizing the community with what's going on. So talk a little bit about that social media platform that you put together.
Making Black Wall Street?
Yes.
Okay, no doubt. So it started, we went to Atlanta, and it was a marketing event, and where everybody got together, they talked about their businesses. And on the way back, I said, man, I've always been intrigued with Black excellence, Black Wall Street, you name it. On the way back, I said, man, it'd be awesome to have something like this in Macon, just, for us. You know what I mean? And we just kind of put it together. We was intentional about making the platform for other Black businesses. I think we got over about 9,000 people that's a part of the group on Facebook, where we promote our businesses to the consumer and other business people. We kind of want to put everybody out there, because if we support each other, like you said, that's major. Once we start supporting each other, we're conscious about how we spend our dollar. So, hey, look, I want to grab something to eat today. So, hey, I want to put my money in my community. So you can go down the list and say, well, what Black restaurant, Black can go to? Hey, I need my house cleaned today, or this week or this month. You can go Black cleaning services, from Nails Angels to my guy, forget his name, but I don't want to go name dropping, but it's a list of where we can support each other. We don't have to look high and low. We can go to one spot, kind of like this, not kind of like exactly what you're doing, right? So we can go to one spot and know how to spend our dollars. And I just thought that was, I really want to be a part of, helping us better put our dollars back in our community.
And that's that's very important. And like I said, so more or less we're partnering, because we got the 100%. Same concept, and we want to make these 1,600 people don't know this, but there are 1,600 businesses listed in the Black pages.
That's amazing.
So there are several sources of services and products that we can utilize. And I want to hasten to say this, Brandon. African Americans in Central Georgia spend $1.5 billion a year.
I was about to touch the same thing, so it's good that the spirit it's the same. I was going about to touch on the same exact thing. Go ahead, though. Right.
And then, hey man, just think how important it would be culturally, educationally, politically, psychologically, religiously, and economically, if we were to direct more of that 1.5, and this is not separatism, I have to say this, because I don't want anybody calling me talking about it's racist. It's self-help.
Right.
Because a rising tide raises the whole ship. You know, so if we could help these businesses do better and be better and make more money, then they're gonna pay more taxes, they're gonna volunteer at the Board of Education, contribute to the community, etc.
It's imperative. It's imperative. A strong African American business community in Macon is a strong Macon. It's a strong Macon, Georgia. A strong African American presence in business in the United States is a strong United States. So yeah, no doubt, it's imperative that we do that. Yeah, it's really do or die.
Yeah, it absolutely is, and I appreciate it. So, talk about the grand opening of the Greenwood Bottom Shopping Mall, man. I'm a little jealous now. You know, I've been having an event, you know, but they say you had what, over 50 vendors, and you know,
So,
I was just impressed. I meant to come through there, but I was out of town. But
100%,
next year,
but your presence was there.
yeah,
LJ showed up. So you
yeah,
know when it's generational. So you
yeah,
know you had your lineage there. So
yeah,
yeah, we had and we had 61 or 2 black businesses all on Bay Street. We shut Bay Street down. The city showed a lot of love, and everybody sold out. Everybody made money. Everybody got their business in front of people who did not know them. Man, the grand opening weekend was a success, and I want to thank the city. I want to thank, you know, everybody that came out. Friday, we had the ribbon cutting ceremony. We introduced all of the stores in the plaza to Macon, Georgia. And Friday, they overwhelmed me and they came out. Then Saturday was the pop-up shop. We had 61 vendors up and down Bay Street. It was a beautiful atmosphere. It was love. It was love. You know, once you stepped on Bay Street, you felt it. You know what I mean? I'm big on feelings and spirit. I mean, you felt it. And man, that was, man, I actually shed some tears on how beautiful it was. And Sunday we ended with the business mixer. And the slogan was contacts equals contracts. You know, in your phone, we got contracts unscathed in our phone right now that we're not reaching out to our people and connecting with our people, letting them know what we do. Because a lot of times, you know, we have people in our phone, they don't even know you started that business. You know what I mean? So, you know, it was just linking with other like-minded people and let them know what we do and see how could we partner and make it bigger. How could we support each other and drive more dollars to our wallets and create financial wealth and, you know, just close that gap.
yeah. I've been doing this thing downtown, but I want to partner with you next year. You know, so we can bring some of it to, you know, Greenwood Bottom, because what we're trying to do is just trying to make, you know, the whole community, but particularly African Americans, more conscientious about businesses. You got a lot of viable businesses. You got a lot of productive businesses, goods and services.
Right.
And the more we can give exposure to these businesses through the Make 'em Black pages and Black Wall Street, because it's enough for everybody. And that's what I'm glad, you know, although we are trying to accomplish the same purpose, we working together, man.
It's like what you said, it's enough for everybody.
Yeah, yeah, we're
We
working.
can't get it all.
Yeah,
We're not trying to get it all. We're
yeah,
not trying to get it all. And yeah, most definitely it's enough for everybody. And I'm glad I'm ready to partner with somebody established as yourself and a pioneer in our community. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready for it. So let's make that happen. We said it here first, right?
that's it. That's it. And I really appreciate it. Well, talk a little bit more about yourself. A lot of people, and I know you're a barber and a businessman, but
Okay.
talk a little bit about yourself so people can become more familiar with you and what kind of drove you to have the kind of mindset that you have, and you're a family man. So talk a little bit about yourself.
Okay, no doubt. I was
Now,
born.
let me tell you why it's important.
Yes,
Excuse
sir.
me, Virginia, because we need people like Brandon Harris. We need brothers like Brandon Harris to help remove that image about black males.
Right,
You know
100%.
what I'm saying? It's important that the community understand, though some may have some problems, we still got some brothers in the community who doing it, who doing it right, who married, who in business, who doing the right thing.
Right. All my partners at home with their kids. So, you know, that narrative doesn't need to be dead. I'm talking about all my partners at home with their kids and their family, you know? Yeah, but sure. I was born in Atlanta, Georgia. I was raised in Clayton County. I moved to Macon in 2004. But to backtrack a little bit, my father was an entrepreneur. You know, he sold T-shirts and blah, 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 but he still had a 9-to-5. My mother, you know, my grandfather who started the business. My aunt, from what I understand, she was the first, and this is why I do my yearly fashion show at the terminal, right? She was the first African-American business in the terminal. She had a restaurant in the terminal. Lizzie is at Mother Power. So if you can look it up, she was the first business in the terminal. So I come from a line of entrepreneurs, people getting it for themselves and making a difference for their family. I moved down here in 2004. I attended Macon State College, where I originally wanted to be a teacher, because I had a teacher that, rest in peace, Mr. Gordon, Tony Gordon. He really impacted my life in a special way. You know, when I was, you know, just being a little knucklehead in the hallways and doing what I was doing, he pulled me to the side and said, "Bro, I see greatness in you." And, you know, and I always felt that, you know what I mean? But he just maybe being misunderstood sometimes, you know, want to get a little bit more attention in class, acting out and whoop, whoop, whoop. But he really made an impact on me. So that kind of helped, you know, straighten me up and kind of fly the right way. I am a father of soon to be 4. My wife is pregnant now, so we should be due in the next 2 or 3 weeks. We'll be bringing our 4th child into this world. I have a son, his name is Amir. My oldest daughter is Samaya, and right now my youngest is Khalifa. And shout out to my wife Nadia Harris. And I don't know if you listen to those names, all of my kid names have meaning. We ain't doing nothing on mistake. We got purpose in our life. You know what I mean? And sometimes I know my kids may not act like it.
Yeah.
Believe. Well, you know, just they don't get it because we put it in them. You know what I mean? We put it in them. We out here living with purpose. So I've been in Macon what, about 17 years. So from there, I chose to come to Macon because I knew we had a family barbershop and I can kind of, you know, pay my bills in college or whatnot and kind of keep it going. And I fell in love. I love people, man. I'm a people person. I can stay on here talking to you for hours and won't get tired. I love people. I love talking. And I just fell in love with the craft of making people feel good and look good and just meeting new people. And from there, you know, we kept the ball rolling. And I started venturing in other things and entrepreneurship and investing. And here we are now. You know, here we are now.
Yeah, well, I'm proud of you, and I'm glad that you, along with all your partners at home with their children,
right, 100%,
are carrying the torch.
That's the narrative. And I got a lot of entrepreneur partners. I got a lot of people that's doing it for themselves. It's important to do for self. So yeah, we definitely want to change the narrative because you look at me, but it's a lot more of us in the city of Macon. We strong and we deep. So we gonna change the narrative. It's gonna happen for sure.
Absolutely. That makes me feel very good. So moving forward, what's on the horizon now? What's your plans for the future to keep it rolling and the road Greenwood, blase?
So we're gonna keep developing Greenwood, Bob.
You know what? We should not finish this interview. If you want to give a shout out to somebody who's helped you, you know, kind of in the mission and in the venture, we probably ought to take the time to do it now.
Okay.
Because it's too often, you know, and it's not intentional, but I like to give credit, you know, because I didn't do this all by myself. Right. And I'm sure you didn't do it all by yourself.
Right. First, my wife, my backbone, you know what I mean? We go home every night and conjure ideas. Every night, that's what we're doing. You know, my parents, you know what I mean? I'd be remiss if I didn't say my parents. My grandfather who helped, even though I only spent 5 short years with my grandfather, but the legacy he left motivated me. You know what I mean? And I got people in the city that, you know, I talked to, Mr. Clifford Wigby, Dominique Johnson, ULA, Pastor Paul Little, and I hate name dropping because every time you start calling names, you're gonna forget. You know, it's a list of people that I may not even talk to daily, but that I look up to. You know what I mean? That I watch their moves and kind of pattern my moves around and then behind it. So it's a village. My grandmother, who passed away 2 years ago, my grandmother always believed in me. My grandmother she always motivated me. She knew. So it's a lot of my ancestors. You got to shout out all our ancestors, right? Who stayed strong and kept that bloodline in us to fight and be survivors. So yeah, it's a list. Yeah, I mean, I know as soon as I get off, I'm gonna say, dang.
Well, that's okay. That's okay. I mean, you can't mention everybody.
Right.
I can't either, but you know, at least through that expression, people know that you acknowledge the help and that you're very thankful and appreciative. Okay, so now where are we going with Greenwood and Black Wall Street? Do
Okay.
Greenwood.
Greenwood, Bob, we're gonna keep developing. You're gonna see a lot more businesses, Black-owned businesses. Right here in Greenwood Bottom. This is only the beginning. We're gonna keep going, and then not only then, and wow, we got other people building on their own Black Wall Streets in Pleasant Hill, over here in East Macon. So we want to have, like I say, it's important, not one central location. We want them all over Macon, then all over the world. Right?
Yeah.
Right, 100%.
Okay, if somebody wants to get more information, if they want to talk to you or want to provide some help, some volunteerism or some assistance, or maybe want to be put a store in the expanded Greenwood Mall, Greenwood Bottom Mall, how should they contact you?
Okay, first I always like to say, ain't no better support than financial support. So get down here and come to the plaza, 1087 Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. Come get a haircut at Haircutz and Sons Barbershop. We got 2 locations. One downtown, 1115 Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard, right next to the plaza. We have a location on Pine Owner, 3872 Pine Owner Avenue. That's the first line of support always with me. When I want to support somebody, I'm gonna put some dollars in their pocket and help the mission go on. If you want to contact me, you can get me at 678-471-3574. You know, we can keep building, help build our community. Let's link. You can get me on Facebook, Brandon Haircutz by B. Harris. You can follow me, anything Nappy Hustle on IG, anything Nappy Hustle B. You can find me. I'm not hard to get in contact with. I'm downtown at my barbershop 6 days a week. I'm not hard to find. Not hard to find, no doubt.
I'll be remiss if I ended this conversation without thanking you again, man.
Thank you.
Any way I can support what you're doing and expose what you're doing and provide whatever.
Right, and this conversation, I want to thank you because without you, you don't have me, right? And so on and so on. So I'm gonna give you your flowers as well. Okay. So no doubt, appreciate you.
Well, I appreciate you too, brother. This is a call to action. I'm your host, Alex C. Habersham. Be sure to check us out on Instagram, YouTube. I even got a podcast. Got makeacalltoaction.com. We're on Bounce TV twice on Sunday mornings at 6:30 and 8 o'clock. We're on Magic 100 at 8:30 on Sunday mornings, and we're on WDDO. So we all over the place. And what we're trying to do is spread love and motivation and inspiration and generation throughout the community, as evidenced by this interview with none other than Brandon Haircutz by B. Harris. For Harold Barbershop. This is a call to action. I'm your host, Alex Habersham. Thank you, brother. Keep up the good work.
No doubt. Peace. Thank you.
Have a great day.
You too.